Yeah, Shabbat Shalom. Right, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for this bit of Yiddishkeit coming into Shabbat. Thank you, it's really great. Are we already online, Craig? Yes, we are. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, wherever you are. I don't know, I don't have my phone with you, but I trust you're all okay. And tonight is a choral service with Rebekka and the choir, so thank you for taking the time to come tonight and to working on music for us. So it's Shabbat service number, you have a pages, so
75.
75.
I always put 75. The eternal start of the service.
Oh, okay. Holly, can I ask you to light the Shabbat candles, please?
Come on.
Please stand.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Shabbat Shalom. Please be seated. I want you to introduce me.
I can say a few words,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's lovely. Lovely. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's always lovely to be here once a month for our choral Erev Shabbat service. As you can see, we have a slightly reduced choir, but we will bring to you the best of what we have. As you say, one of the themes for the music at KLS is to build up instrumental music. And of course we have guitars, we have Vince and Daniel on the guitars, we have Rebekka on the piano and myself. But to bring in a few different colours, some different Yiddishkeit, different sounds, we've got this incredible resource of Leslie, and then later on we'll have the accordion with Rebekka. So I hope we're going to enjoy that tonight, and part of our ongoing work in building the instrumental music. I think I'll wait with G to G, speaking about the project Generation to Generation. But we've just had the spring equinox, so we thought we'd sing a couple of spring songs, Israeli spring songs, a little bit further in the service. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
That's lovely. And we continue on page 76 with Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
77 we read responsively, "The Eternal One reigns, let the earth rejoice.
Let the many isles be glad.
Clouds and darkness surround you.
Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne.
Your lightnings illumine the world. The earth sees and trembles. Mountains may melt like wax before you, O God.
Before the ruler of all the earth.
The heavens proclaim your righteousness,
and all the peoples behold your glory.
Zion hears and is glad.
The daughters of Judah rejoice in your judgments.
For you are supreme over all the earth.
You are exalted far above all other gods.
Light dawns for the righteous,
and joy for the upright in heart.
Let the righteous rejoice in you and give thanks to your holy name. And Lecha de 10 on page 91.
Lecha dodi lekat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi lekat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabala. Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad. Ishmianu elam yochad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. L'Hashem ultiferet v'litchila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha. Ki mekoch habracha, merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabala. Hitorari, ki va'orech kuri uri, shedaberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabala. Boi v'shalom ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi kala. Lecha dodi, lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala.
Page 92, please stand for the Barechu. Seated. We praise you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of the universe, whose word brings on the evening, whose wisdom opens heaven's gates, whose understanding changes times and seasons, and whose will set the stars in their courses in the sky. You make day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light. You make day pass and bring on the night, and separate day from night. You rule the host of heaven. We praise you, God, whose word makes evening fall.
Avad olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadata, al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shofreinu, uvkumeinu nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu, v'orech yameinu, uvahem neged yomam v'layla, neged yomam v'layla. V'ahavatcha al tasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
Please rise on page 94.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשורבך ובקומך. וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Please be seated. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, Eternal One, are our God, and we are Israel, your people, who have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha leda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osef ele, nora tehilot osef ele. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress, and keep us from wrongdoing. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you are our guardian and deliverer, a gracious and merciful God. Guard our going out and our coming in, that now and always we may have life and peace. We praise you, O God.
May your sheltering peace descend on us and all who dwell on earth.
So tonight we're going to pray Via Mida with the Magen Avot Ve'imaot. I think you all have a copy, so we will do the Adonai Sfatai with the choir. We read together the English and the Hebrew, and then Shalom Rav, and the last pieces. Please stand.
Eternal God, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu ve'Emoteinu, Elohei Avraham ve'Elohei Yitzhak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, קונה שמיים וארץ. מגן אבות ואימהות בדברו, מחיה הכל במאמרו. האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח לכם, לפניו לעבוד ביראה ופחד. ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעון הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום, מקדש השבת, מברך שביעי ומניח בקדושה לעם מדושני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. Blessed are you, eternal our God and God of those who came before us, God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob, God of Sarah, God of Rebekka, God of Rachel and God of Leah, great, mighty and revered God, God transcendent, maker of heaven and earth. With a word you shielded our ancestors, with a phrase you give all things life. Sacred God beyond compare, who took joy in providing rest for you people on the holy Shabbat day. We will serve you reverently, acknowledging on each and every day forever just who you are, the one to whom blessing goes, the one to whom thanksgiving is due, source of peace, who recalls the time of creation by sanctifying Shabbat, blessing the seventh day, and in holiness granting rest to a people overflowing with joy. And now we turn to our book on page 101. 101. Supreme source of peace, grant true and lasting peace to your people Israel, for it is good in your sight that your people Israel and all peoples may be blessed at all times with your gift of peace. Please be seated. And we take now a few moments to reflect on the week that has just finished and what we're hoping to see in the week that is coming, that is starting tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Well done, choir. Thank you, Rebekka. So before I go into what I wanted to talk to you tonight, I think we have something to celebrate. And I know that the choir has prepared a little gift to a young couple of our synagogue who is
here tonight.
Here tonight, and I heard somewhere through a grapevine that there's a wedding coming up soon.
Did you hear about that? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about a wedding.
A little bird.
Yes, someone told me that. So I know that the choir, is really keen on offering something. So
That's
I'm going to.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Holly is one of our new, very, very, very wonderful members of the choir, and we're absolutely thrilled to have her in the choir. As is indeed is the whole community. And it is Holly's wedding is coming up next week, and the choir wanted to get together a present and a card for her, and we also have something to sing all together. So Holly, should we just do it?
Well, Holly's getting married to Graham. I think we should. She's not getting married alone, so.
And we happen to have. We've got a husband in the room as well.
Yes,
husband to be.
is
Over here is Graham. Lovely. Mazel tov to you.
Yeah, mazel tov.
To both of you. And we have a traditional wedding song to sing. Nothing sort of lively, but it's something formal. And there's several members of the choir who are absolutely passionate, who in fact had this song at their wedding. It's Hari'u. Hari'u.
Oh yeah, lovely.
So here we are. Would you like to stand up? I'm just going to do 2 verses, not 4.
Brilliant.
So if you know the melody, I'm sure a few people will, please just join in. If you know the words, even better. Okay?
So when are you getting married? When is it? Thursday. This Thursday. Wow, it's getting really, both of them. Wow.
Something had to be done, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's today or never. Huh? So you've got this very, very Ashkenazi Hari Uladonai for a wedding, so this will be with you. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, guys. I just wanted to discuss with you briefly one question which is very, very simple. And the question is, who is a Jew? Of course, it's a very simple question which is actually very complicated. And the reason why, can I ask you please to pass this around, please? You may know that Prime Minister Netanyahu is in London tonight, and he's been welcomed by a group of many, many angry Israelis and progressive Jews. So some of our colleagues went today. Rabbi René Pfertzel has actually led the Kabbalat Shabbat service at the Savoy, outside the Savoy Hotel. So a lot of people came to welcome Netanyahu. And I think one of the questions, I'm not going to talk about the situation in Israel because this is everywhere, and in a way we're just, overwhelmed by all these questions. But one of the questions that is raised at the moment about the whole spiel about what's happening there is the nature of what it means to be Israeli and what it means to be Jewish. Because for the people in power at the moment, we don't exist. You know that. Progressive Jews are traitors. So some of the nice words that were said about us. So I think we need to rebalance the conversation, and the best way, I think, is to go back to the tradition and to see what we can find in the Jewish tradition that actually balance this idea of a Jew is biologically from the mother, end of story. It's a bit more complicated than that. So, you've got the text. Leviticus chapter 1, verse 2. Daber el bnei Yisrael, speak to the children of Israel, ve'amarta alehem, and say to them, Adam, so someone, anyone, any of you, ki yakriv mikem, who present from them korban ladonai, an offering to the eternal, mina behema, mina bakar, mina tzon, from the different types of cattle, herd, etc., from the flock. Takrivu et korbanchem, you shall bring your offerings. And translation is better than my poor attempt to translate literally. Speak to the Israelite people and say to them, when any of you presents an offering of cattle to the Eternal, you shall choose your offering from the herd or from the flock. Okay. In itself, the book of Leviticus is all about sacrifices. It's very central to the entire Torah, but it's all about sacrifices that were performed in the Temple of Jerusalem, what we have to give to God in order to repair the relationship, a broken relationship. Korban means to bring close. Karov is to be close to. That's the root of Korban. Now, of course, even the rabbis, I suspect, were a bit bored about all these details about sacrifices, especially because we don't have a temple anymore. So there is no place where we can actually offer sacrifices. And, already Maimonides, the great sage in the Middle Ages, said, okay, we needed sacrifices in antiquity, but we don't need them anymore. We have grown up out of that. Relationship with God is a bit different from just, I ate bacon on Yom Kippur, so I'm going to sacrifice a dove. If I have no turtle anyway. A dove, just to, that would work, yes.
Is the implication that you should take an animal rather than have a human sacrifice as well?
So that's a very good point, Fleur. Human sacrifices were, I wouldn't say common, but I think the Phoenicians, they had some human sacrifices. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to say something wrong, but it wasn't uncommon in antiquity to have human sacrifices. So it's a kind of, okay, we don't want to sacrifice human beings, we're going to use animals instead. But it's a kind of a taboo, killing other human beings. It's a taboo despite all the murders and assassination and everything. It's still a taboo. So, it replaces a bit. Okay, so there is a midrash, a rabbinic commentary on the book of Leviticus called Sifra. It's quite an ancient one, it's a very old one, on this particular verse. And we have 6 ideas, and I'd like us to go through these 6 ideas to see how the rabbis in Midrash Sifra understood this question of Jewish identity. Who is Jewish? Okay. Adam, any means this incorporates the proselytes. So the proselytes are incorporated into the obligations of bringing a sacrifice. Of you, this excludes the apostates. Do you know what an apostate is?
What is it again?
So someone who has rejected Judaism. Someone, for example, who has converted to another religion, or someone who doesn't want to be Jewish anymore. So, third point, what characterizes Israel is that they accept the yoke of a covenant. This includes the proselytes, and if you remember when we do the admission ceremony, we ask the new Jew, do you accept the covenant of God? And the good answer is yes, because if it's no, sorry, I'm going to tear the certificate, but usually people accept that. Is that they accept the yoke of a covenant. This includes the proselytes who accepted the yoke of a covenant, and excludes the apostates, for they do not accept the yoke of a covenant. So according to this definition, who is a Jew?
The person who accepts the yoke.
Yes, so there is a commitment.
That word is interesting.
Yes. So you committed to Judaism. You accept it. But of course, there's the question, which is covered by the 4th point. Perhaps you should say, you want to say, what characterizes Israel is that they are the descendants of those who accepted the yoke of a covenant, and this includes the apostates, and includes the apostates, for they are the descendants of those who accepted the yoke of a covenant, even though they themselves refuse to carry on, and that excludes the proselytes, for they are not the descendants of those who accepted the yoke of a covenant. In other words, we have a biological definition of Judaism. You're Jewish because your parents were Jewish. Whatever you do, and that's a trend in Judaism. There is one passage, I don't remember in the Talmud, that says, Afilu in chet, even if he or she has sinned, he's a Jew. So whatever you do, you're Jewish. Because there's this notion of, descendants. Okay, so that's a question mark. Is it correct? In that case, it's impossible to convert. And someone who doesn't accept the covenant can be part of the people anyway. So this is how they resolve this kind of tension. Scripture teaches, of you, therefore, do not conclude so, but as we said first. Okay, so it's a bit complicated. So basically what they say, I'm going to, sometimes a bit difficult to give a proper translation of Midrashic Hebrew. So basically what this 5th section says, it rejects these views, and it maintains that the acceptance of the covenant is the true characteristic of the you, the Adam ki yakriv. That's the true characteristic of the you, the Israelite people. And the passage in the book of Proverbs, which is below, is the proof text needed by the rabbi to support their views. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he brings it with evil intent? In other words, an apostate sacrifice won't be accepted by God. So you see, it's very interesting because we're talking about text which was written about the 4th or 5th century CE. So it's an ancient text compared to what we could say today in the progressive world. For example, what makes someone Jewish is not biology, it's behavior. It's not the chance of birth, It's the commitment. I commit to the covenant, therefore I'm Jewish. And I'd like to finish with something that really struck me as fascinating. In the 80s, there's an American rabbi. If I don't know the names, I forget them. Okay. Greenberg. He wrote something about what he called the voluntary covenant, and he was Orthodox, an Orthodox rabbi. It wasn't a liberal rabbi who has more freedom to interpret things. He said, after Auschwitz, God has shown us that God didn't really, pay his part of a covenant, because, a covenant is a two-way contract. I choose you, you do what I do, but I give you, things. So this rabbi said, God, didn't really play his part. Therefore, any Jew today who wants to remain Jewish does it voluntarily. And I think, of course, he got lots of trouble by saying that. But I think it's a very powerful idea. We are all Jews by choice today. We choose to be Jewish. And it doesn't matter if you were born in a Jewish family or not in a Jewish family, because if you think about the latest census, 280,000 Jews in Britain, not including those who, and I've met several of them already who said, I didn't put that my parents were Jewish because I don't feel Jewish. So how many of these 280,000 British Jews feel actually Jewish, are actually part of the Jewish community? It's not half of them. We are Jewish because we choose it. So maybe I should write a letter to Netanyahu and say, with my community tonight, we studied this very important piece of Midrash, which says that what you friends in the government, with all their self-righteousness about who is a Jew deciding for me, what am I don't allow anyone else to tell me what am I. It's my choice, it's your choice, it's our commitment. Thank you. Sorry? How do you make a choice? How do you make a choice, and who is the teacher?
If God is the teacher, is he doing it very well?
I mean, God's teachings are everywhere.
Yes.
And you make the choice to learn from that or not. You make the choice.
Yes, but I've got to be well taught.
You have to be well taught, and in order to be well taught, you have to trust your community and your tradition, and you also have to know where to go. But you have to, the impulse comes from you. Yeah? Okay. Yes?
If I may just say, I have a problem trying to understand the last two words of the second of our Ten Commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Since thou shalt have no other gods. That's very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's two words, before me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean you can have other gods after me?
Yeah, that's a very good point. So what's the purpose?
That doesn't make any sense.
You know what? It makes sense for one reason, I think. If we believe that we have a dialogical relationship with God, or a relational relationship with God before me, it means like, if God is somewhere and I don't care about God, it doesn't really matter. But before me is have a relationship with me, particularly with me, and I think that's what it means.
Okay.
But, yeah.
But it says, okay, so it just means in front of me.
Okay, so you can think spatially, if God is there, or I can choose the God who is there. Now, I understand, why do we... But I think it's because we have a relationship with God.
I guess so, but
Yeah.
I can't see that those two words add anything, and the implication would be, okay, so you can have other gods after me?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good point. Yeah, it's a good point, Michael. Absolutely, I agree with you. Yeah, yes, yeah.
But thinking about the society at that time, I might have thought it meant that you could have God, the God that we believe in, as the preference, as against all the false gods that there were, the idols and the things like
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Fleur. When the Bible was written, if you can see in the biblical text an evolution from a situation where Adonai was one God among the others, and if you read through the prophets, for example, it's only the late Isaiah that you have this idea of only one God and there's no other God. But for many books, you had this kind of, it's competition between gods. So maybe that explains, Fleur explained maybe what it meant.
in the story of Elijah. You've got
Yeah.
Elijah.
There's no question of there being, thou shalt have no other gods.
End of story.
End of story.
Yeah.
The idea, the implication by adding the forming
Yeah.
suggests that you can have other gods, just as long as they're not more important. That's rubbish.
Well,
Translated as beside me. I mean, I thought the other God beside me. In other words,
I think it's, what's the exact Hebrew
I don't know
word?
what the Hebrew word is, but I've often heard it translated as the other God beside me.
Besides me.
Yes, which makes
Apart from me.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. Which is a good,
I would have thought it was a translation, but I don't know what the Hebrew word is. There's a Hebrew word allowed for that.
I'm just going to check it.
What other gods might we have after him?
Yeah, but some people have. Lo hiye lecha Elohim acherim. Oh, okay. So it's in Hebrew is Lo hiye lecha Elohim acherim, other gods, and it's a plural form. Al panai, upon my face. Yes, which is.
Don't find any other gods.
Yes. So it's a very yeah.
If it says you can't have any other gods before my face, then as long as it's not before my face, it's okay.
It's like marriage, right? Okay. So sorry. Huh? Right. Okay. Thank you. I think I'm glad that this has raised this important question.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, Michael. So let's
I think
go
it's
ahead.
great. What a wonderful conversation. A wonderful conversation, Michael. It's a great start to a wonderful conversation. And now we're going to move on to just a couple of things that I was saying at the beginning. One is about this project. I know there's been some publicity in the bulletin, hasn't there?
Yes,
in the bulletin,
yeah, already,
that
yes.
Rebekka and I are once again putting together an event, in July, a concert come spoken word, words and music event, like the concert for Ukraine last year, but obviously in its own form, which takes up the Generation to Generation, the charity, which is one of KLS's sponsored charities, Generation to Generation. And what I find fascinating is with this organisation, they're a Holocaust education charity, but their unique point is really that it's all about the first-person narrative. It's the testimony, it's the words of people who went through that time and came out of it, of course. Or no, didn't even necessarily come out. So what it is, and it's about the generations that come after who are carrying on the work to speak those words and to share what people said and wrote from that time. So we have actually got some wonderful contributions from members of that group whose parents or great uncles or relatives there's a letter that's come from one of them, there are some poems, there are all sorts of material that we are bringing to this event, and some of those members from the group will also be be part of presenting that material. And what I have tonight is that we've also discovered that a woman who wrote songs, very simple folk songs really, Ilse Weber in Theresienstadt. And she looked after the children and she wrote quite a lot of songs that have somehow been kept. We don't know how they survived, but we do know that then she ended up most tragically, also being deported to Auschwitz with the children. And this song was sung as they, so we thought we'd like to sing this song. It's a lullaby, and it's in German. So the choir is having a great time learning German. Well, not learning German necessarily, but singing in German. I don't know. And so tonight what we'd like to do is introduce you to the melody, and we're all going to learn the melody tonight. And the choir will just sing the first verse. And we've also got, once again, Leslie is going to bring the beautiful oboe sounds to the melody. And then we're also going to have from the accordion, Eufen Pripachik, something about the tradition of passed from generation to generation. So let's start off with, we'd like you to join in with a nice, just is it on key? That's me. All together. So the choir needs to start us all off. I think the choir should stand up. But also the first verse, Vigela, Vigela. Let me just read the words. Vigela, Vigela, Weia. Weia. Der Wind spielt auf der Lyre. The wind is playing on the lyre. Es spielt so süß im grünen Ried. It plays so sweetly in the green meadow. The nightingale, the Nachtigall, is singing its song. Vigela, Vigela, Weia. The wind plays the lyre. And it goes on to talk about the moon. It's a very lyrical folk song, really, yes. But at the end, it has the last verse is very much about Wie ist die Welt so stille? Why is the world so quiet? And there's something about, the silence that's disturbing, I think, and it's very poignant. So let's begin with the first verse in German. First of all, this is the melody. to say, if you want to get ready with your accordion, last year we I don't know if you remember, we brought this Ukrainian anthem to some of the choral services, Kalina, Kalina. And so by the time we had the concert, people knew some of the music already, and wanting to do that with some of the songs that we're going to be bringing in to the event in July. So, do you want to say anything about... over to Rebekka. Do you want to say anything about what choosing this one?
Well, I mean, we did this one, I don't know if you remember, Louisa and I did this off in Pieperczek, piano and clarinet.
That's right,
in the Ukraine concert. But it's also relevant for the theme of generation to generation, because it's about teaching young children the alphabet.
Absolutely.
So it's that same kind of theme of passing on through generations. But it's also, like Regula, it's just got the most beautiful melody. I think so much of this music, it's just, there's something about the melodies, about the Yiddish melodies, that are just so beautiful.
So again, it's like, let's all feel free just to join in the melody. Can we do that? That's I just think the sound of the accordion, I didn't even want to sing actually. I just wanted to listen, hear the sound of it, It was almost like, let's all not sing. Because it was absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Rebekka. Thank you. And then the last thing, before we finish off the service, we did say we'd sing one spring song. So I'm just going to hand out the words here. It's very short, very simple, an Israeli folk song. Well, it's from the Song of Songs, actually. It's not an Israeli folk song. It's from the Song of Songs, which of course we singing. It's not. Here we are. Here we are. One inch. I think I've got plenty. Sadly, it's going to be a string. There's a lot of paper. Sadly, not just. That's a handwriting one. No, not handwriting, is it? It's only in the You've all got it, haven't you? You haven't. You didn't join in. So here we are. Nitzani. No, you don't need this because I'm going to be singing it, no? We're singing Nitzani. Okay. You can just share it here. So here we are. Nitzani Ne'eru Ba'aretz from Song of Songs. 2:12. So we can quickly, let's speak the words through all together. Nitzanim Ne'eru Ba'aretz. Eit Zamir Higia Eit Zamir. It's the wonderful words here. The flowers appear on the land, in the land, over the land. The time of song, Eit Zamir. The time of song has come, Eit Zamir. So let's really enjoy this. Carrying on. Ki hine stav avar, stav chalaf halachlo. For behold, the winter is over. It is past and gone. Hooray. Well, today actually there's most horrendous hailstones as big as peas, and then there was an incredible rainbow. So, and the last bit of the Hebrew, Hagfanim Smadar And natnu recham. And the vines bloom and give forth their fragrance. I think you're the only one who hasn't got this.
Thank you. Where are you today with demonstration?
Yes.
Oh, gosh. Thank you.
So here we are. It's the most lovely little melody. It's a lovely melody. Let's enjoy it together.
Thank you. Brilliant. Yes. Okay, so before now we conclude our service, I just wanted to give you a few updates on what's happening at KLS. So, of course, tomorrow we have a Shabbat morning service at 10:45 with Rebekka on the piano, at the piano, I don't know, I mean, you wouldn't be on the piano, but playing.
At the piano.
At the piano, okay, yes.
Not on the piano.
you may, yeah. So Monday evening there's a Ramadan Interfaith Iftar dinner with the mayor of Kingston upon Thames. We are invited by our friends of the Dialogue Society, so if you want, please book by yesterday. Tomorrow. Oh, you can book by tomorrow, so please. Is it? Oh, it's full up. Gosh. I didn't book to do it. I'm Mr. Speaker.
You're okay with that?
So I'm okay, yeah. Is there food? I mean, that's the only thing. Okay, there's food. Okay.
I'm going to.
You're going to as well. So Rebekka is coming, you're coming, so at least 3 people. So we've got the usual classes as well, Biblical Hebrew, Exploring Judaism. Next week we have an Erev Shabbat service. And remember, next Friday is the deadline to register to the communal Seder. And I've heard that at the moment it's not very high. So I know KLS is pretty late at booking. But please, huh? How many?
There's over 40 people.
Over 40 people. I want 80 people, okay? So we need people. So that's next Friday. Next Saturday morning, thanks to Rabbi Janet, she will lead the service here with Vince. While I'll be with the kids. We're going to have a mock seder with Beitenu at 11:15. So it's just to know for the kids and the families to have. I don't like the word mock seder, but I can't find another word. But So we're going to have some fun. And coming up on the 18th of April, we have a Yom HaShoah service, which will be led by Rebekka and the choir. And we have a special event on this evening because Alison Simmons will present to Careless the portrait of Bronya Snow that she painted, and she won an award for this amazing painting. So this will be presented to Careless on the 18th. We are also celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel Independence Day. I think we need to do it. So we have some Israeli members who agreed to be part of this celebration. They will talk about Israel. There will be a conversation about Israel, what Israel means to us, because I feel that at the moment the whole conversation has been hijacked by people I'm not friendly with. So we need to recapture because Israel means a lot to us, and it's not necessarily what they think of Israel. So I don't know if you've heard about it. We've been asked by the Suffolk liberal community. How was it? Okay.
Well done.
to lend them a scroll, a Torah scroll. So the council agreed to lend to Ipswich liberal community a scroll. So we are going, a few of us, I know that Craig and Mary and Rebekka and myself, we are going to attend the Shabbat morning service on the 29th of April. And of course, if you want to come, please come along. It would be nice to have, it's not next door, but it allows us to create partnership and collaboration with another LJ community. And there, I can tell you, very, very grateful that Careless.
Very young, kind of small community.
Yeah.
50 years ago, sort of thing. So.
Yeah, so they don't have a building, they don't have a rabbi, they visit.
Not that new, I'm afraid to say.
It's small.
Yeah, I spent part of my, when I was at college, I did quite a few services there.
Oh, you went there as well? Okay, good.
They've been maintaining themselves, but it's nice. It sounds to me like they're growing, which is nice.
Yeah. And they really believe that having a scroll to hold services will help, yes. So we are very, very happy to help them. And then we'll have a connection with community in East Anglia.
The night before that, Shabbat Island, the next Shabbat Island discs.
Yes.
Is my daddy.
Your daddy. Oh.
And so he's going to be talking about Bruckner.
Oh, yes.
Mathematics. But apart from that, he's going to be talking about his Jewish boarding school he went to in the 50s.
The 15th century.
In the 50s, which is no longer there. It's a place called Wisdom College. Really fascinating. Kind of run by quite an ardent Zionist, but a Zionist who was very much about promoting good relationships with the Arab community as well. So a lot of Arab boys came over from the Middle East to go to the school.
Yeah.
So fascinating stories, really interesting. And that's also the night of my birthday. So there might be something sparkling.
So what are you offering then?
Yeah.
We'll be celebrating
Something with
you. We're
bubbles,
celebrating you.
And I really hope your dad will tell some juicy story about you.
He probably will.
Yes, I hope so. I'm going to give him a call. We want to know everything.
They'll tell you how powerful I was.
So,
Can I just ask on the 8th of April, 8th, the Shabbat service?
yes.
I think we're doing a kind of it's a Chol HaMoed, isn't it? We're doing a musical service or something. Did you say that? Oh, right, okay, fine, great, that's fine. Don't know what, we'll come up with something.
Okay.
Is that right? Have you got that down there?
It's not in. I can't
Oh, right,
remember.
fine, never
but,
mind.
you know,
it's
but
okay.
you know.
No, well,
if
you
it's
know,
planned,
we'll
it's,
talk about it another.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine.
Right. Okay. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things happening at Careless, obviously,
absolutely.
always. So look at the great. And I know that this time it was you. You did the newsletter. Huh? So we've got another member of the newsletter team. So thank you for doing it. It's really it's very important for us to know what's happening at. And remember, we know who has opened the newsletter or not. Yeah, thanks to technology, we know. So if you say, oh yeah, I didn't find it in the newsletter, we can check if you actually opened it. Big Brother is a real...
Not that we stalk you, honestly.
No. Big Brother is here.
Data connection.
Oh, yeah. And lastly, can I encourage you to consider joining LJ for the biennial on the 19th to 21st of May. It will be somewhere in Daventry. So we've got some amazing speakers coming, including Rabbi Larry Hoffman, and his son is actually Dr. Joel Hoffman. They will talk, and we have Rebekka Sofer, who actually wrote about loss and grief, and she will come and talk to us about that. So if you can make it, please. And I know that LJ has got some bursaries available for people if you need some support. Right? Have I forgotten anything?
I think so.
Okay, so let's conclude our service with Aleinu on page 520.
Just do the first two paragraphs,
Yeah,
perhaps?
sure.
Just the first two paragraphs, page 520. And into the V'nei'amar, we'll just do that,
Yeah.
and then Kaddish. Would you like to stand, please?
So today we think particularly of Sarah Olson and her family. You know that Sarah's father passed away earlier this week. The funeral will be, I can't remember exactly, Wednesday at midday, and it will be led by Rabbi Daniel Rich and Rabbi Nathan Godelman.
Is it Rowan Road Crematorium, South London Crematorium?
South London Crematorium. And on the Shabbat we also remember Michael Leifer, the husband of Francis Leifer, Anne-Marie Zelig, remembered by all her friends at KLS, and Adele Myers, the mother of Judith Waite and Jill Cheverine. Do you have any other name you'd like to remember before we say the Kaddish together? Zichronam Livracha, may the memory be a blessing, and we say together on page 524. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמה דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברר וישתבר ויתפאר ויתחומם נשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה על שמי לקודשה בריחו. לה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תוש ברתה ונחמתה, דאמירן עלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה משמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל בני אדם, ואמרו amen. Please be seated. So tonight we were joined by many friends, including Dylan, Maxine, and Carol, your mom, who is here online as well. Alexander, who has joined us from Seattle, is in the other side of the world, and Mubarak, who is actually at the moment in Pakistan. So he's joined us from Pakistan. Well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so speaking of dedication, maybe just has his computer on. And of course, all of the names I can't see on my Facebook feed, but thank you for your loyalty and thank you for coming tonight. And let's finish with Adon Olam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Melody chosen by Holly.
Thank you.
הצילי מעלה את כסה, את הכל הזמר לב שמו נקרא, ואחרי קירות הכל לבדו אם לא נורא, והוא עובר והוא יהיה בצפרה, כעולם אשר עולם בצלם כל יצירה, לעת נשא וחפצו כל הזמר לב שמו נקרא. Well done, thank you. So I forgot to mention that Sandra Levine is with us tonight as well. Yeah, I got hold of Sandra Levine, Sarah Alston here as well, and James Sales. Shabbat Shalom, James. Good to have you with us tonight.
Hello, James.
Hello, James. So please stand. That's a prayer by Rabbi Nachman of Bratslav, which is in the special readings for this parasha, Vayikra. Ribono shel olam, ten li lev emet, lev kasher v'tahor, la'avodatecha u'liratecha, lev Yisrael be'emet. Sovereign of the universe, give me a heart of truth, a heart clean and pure, that I may serve and revere you, a true Jewish heart. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much.